I thought I knew everything about Isabel after 3 years together. She was brilliant, independent, a marketing coordinator at one of Seattle's top firms. We had our rhythm. Sunday dinners I would cook while she chopped vegetables, weekend hikes through the Cascades, quiet evenings on our Capitol Hill apartment balcony watching the rain. She was my person. Or so I believed. But lately, something felt different. She would check my phone when I left it on the counter, ask pointed questions about my female co-workers at the software company where I worked. Then, one Tuesday evening in March, she asked something that would change everything. Before I tell you what happened that night, I would love to know, where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments below. If you have ever been in a relationship where trust became a weapon instead of a foundation, hit that like button right now. And please subscribe to this channel, because what I am about to share gets much darker before it gets better. You need to hear how this ends, so let me take you back to that specific Tuesday evening when a simple question about a phone password exposed a betrayal I never saw coming, and how I turned the tables in a way she never expected. It was around 8 o'clock on a Tuesday night in March when I walked through the door of our studio apartment. The rain was doing its typical Seattle drizzle, and I was exhausted from debugging code all day. Our place was small but cozy. Exposed brick walls, plants lined up by the window that Isabel obsessively watered, a shared desk where we both worked from home sometimes. The moment I stepped inside, I knew something was off. Isabel was sitting on our gray fabric sofa, laptop open in front of her, but she was not looking at the screen. She sat perfectly straight, hands folded in her lap, staring at the wall. She did not turn when I came in. She did not call out her usual greeting. I hung my jacket on the hook by the door and set down my backpack. "Hey, how was your day?" I asked, heading toward the kitchen area to grab a glass of water. "Fine," she said. Her voice was flat, cold even. I filled a glass from the tap, took a sip, and tried again. "Anything interesting happen at work? How did that client presentation go?" "It was fine, Andreas." The way she said my name made me pause. There was an edge to it. I walked back into the living room area and sat down on the opposite end of the sofa. She still was not looking at me. Her jaw was tight, her fingers drumming against her thigh. "Is everything okay?" I asked carefully. That is when she turned to face me fully. Her blue eyes were hard, searching mine like she was trying to read something written there. "Can I see your phone?" she asked abruptly. I blinked. "What?" "Your phone. Can I see it?" My mind raced, trying to understand where this was coming from. Why did something happen? She leaned forward slightly. "If you have nothing to hide, you should have no problem opening it for me." The words hung in the air between us. I had heard about this before. The phone test. Some relationship advice column I had skimmed once talked about it. I never imagined I would be sitting here being asked to prove my innocence for crimes I had not committed. "Isabel, what is this about?" I kept my voice gentle, non-confrontational. "Just unlock it. That is all I am asking." Her tone was firm now, almost demanding. I looked down at my phone sitting on the coffee table where I had placed it. My brain ran through a quick inventory. What was on there? Work emails, texts with my mom, group chat with my college friends talking about video games, messages with Marcus, my best friend since high school, Instagram, where I mostly followed tech accounts and hiking trails. Nothing remotely incriminating, but the request itself felt wrong. We had been together 3 years. 3 years of building trust, of being there for each other, of sharing our lives. And now she wanted to inspect my phone like I was a suspect in an interrogation room. Still, a part of me thought, what is the harm? I have nothing to hide. Maybe she is just feeling insecure. Relationships go through rough patches. If letting her look through my phone will ease her mind, then why not? I picked up my phone and unlocked it. The passcode was 0427, my mother's birthday, April 27th. I handed it to Isabel without another word. She took it immediately, her fingers already swiping before I could even settle back into the couch. I sat there watching her scroll through my messages app. She opened conversations with my coworkers. She checked my Instagram direct messages. She went through my email inbox. She even looked at my photos, swiping through pictures of code screenshots, sunset shots from our last hike, a funny meme Marcus had sent me. 15 minutes passed. 15 long, uncomfortable minutes where I sat on my own couch, feeling like a stranger in my own relationship. I wanted to ask what she was looking for. I wanted to ask why my word was not enough. But I stayed quiet. "Find anything interesting?" I finally asked, unable to keep the slight edge of sarcasm out of my voice. She did not respond. She just kept scrolling, her face unreadable. Finally, she set my phone down on the coffee table. No apology, no explanation, no acknowledgement of what she had just done. "Okay," was all she said. Then she picked up her laptop and went back to staring at the screen. I sat there feeling violated in a way I could not quite articulate. She had just gone through my entire digital life without finding anything, and she could not even say sorry for doubting me. About 5 minutes passed in tense silence. The only sound was the rain pattering against our window and the clicking of her keyboard. My mind was spinning. If this was about trust, if this was about transparency, then surely it went both ways. I took a breath and asked as calmly as I could, "So can I see yours?" The typing stopped immediately. She looked up from her laptop and I watched her face transform. Her eyes widened slightly. Her mouth opened, then closed. Then her expression shifted from surprise to something defensive, guarded. "What?" she asked. "Your phone," I said evenly. "If we are being transparent with each other, can I see yours?" "That is different," she said quickly. "How is it different?" She closed her laptop and stood up, grabbing her phone from the armrest where it had been sitting. "My phone is my privacy. You are being controlling." The words hit me like a slap. "But you just went through mine for 15 minutes. "That is because I had a reason to be concerned," she shot back. "What reason?" I asked, standing up now too. "Did I do something wrong? Did someone tell you something? What exactly are you concerned about?" "It is not about what you did. It is about trust." "Exactly," I said, my voice rising slightly despite my efforts to stay calm. "So if it is about trust, why would you not show me yours?" Her face flushed red. "Because I do not need to prove anything to you. My phone is my personal space. And mine is not." She grabbed her phone tighter like I was going to snatch it from her hands. "This is ridiculous. I cannot believe you are turning this around on me." "I am not turning anything around. I am asking for the same thing you asked for." "Well, I am not giving you my password," she said firmly. Then she walked past me toward the small balcony we had, sliding the glass door open and stepping outside into the misty evening air. I stood there in the living room, my heart pounding. The double standard was so obvious it was almost laughable. She could demand complete access to my digital life, but hers was off limits. She could question my loyalty, but I could not question hers. Her phone started ringing from where she had set it down on the balcony railing. I could see through the glass door as she looked at the screen, then quickly declined the call. She glanced back at me to see if I had noticed. "Who was that?" I called out. "Just work," she said, not looking at me. But it was 8:30 on a Tuesday night. Who from work calls at 8:30 at night? She stayed out on the balcony for another 10 minutes before coming back inside. She walked straight to the bedroom without saying a word. I heard the door close behind her. I sat back down on the sofa alone. The rain had picked up outside now, drumming harder against the windows. I stared at my phone on the coffee table, the phone I had unlocked without hesitation because I had nothing to hide. Then I thought about her phone clutched in her hand, locked away from me behind passwords and privacy arguments. Something was very wrong, and deep in my gut, I knew it. "Okay," I said quietly to the empty room. But it was not okay, not even close. The next morning, Wednesday, I woke up at 6:30 to find Isabel's side of the bed already empty. I walked out to the living room, and she was gone. Her gym bag was missing. Her work tote was gone, and there was no note. I checked my phone. No text, no explanation. She had left for work 2 hours earlier than usual. I texted her, "Morning. You left early. Everything okay?" 3 hours later at 9:45, she responded, "Big project coming up. Had to get an early start." That was it. No good morning, no heart emoji like she usually sent, just a functional explanation. That evening, she came home at 9 o'clock. When I asked about dinner, she said she had already eaten at the office. She went straight to the bedroom, closed the door, and I heard the shower running. Thursday was worse. I decided to make an effort. I stopped by the grocery store after work and picked up ingredients for her favorite meal: garlic shrimp pasta with white wine sauce. I spent an hour cooking, setting the small table we had by the window, even lighting a candle. When she walked in at 7:15, she looked surprised. "What is this, dinner?" I said with a smile I did not quite feel. "Thought we could have a nice evening together." "That is sweet," she said, but her tone was flat. She sat down across from me, and we ate mostly in silence. Every few minutes her phone would light up on the table beside her plate. She had it face down, but I could see the glow. Each time she would glance at it, then force her attention back to her food. "Popular tonight," I commented, trying to keep my voice light. "Work group chat," she said quickly. "They are so annoying with the constant messages." But I noticed she was smiling slightly when the phone lit up. A small smile, like she was trying to hide it. After dinner, she excused herself to the bathroom, taking her phone with her. She was in there for 20 minutes. Through the door, I heard her giggle. Actually giggle. When she came out, she avoided my eyes. "I think I am going to stay at my place this weekend," she announced suddenly Friday morning over coffee. We both technically had our own apartments. Mine was this studio, hers was a one-bedroom she kept across town. But we had been staying together most nights for the past year. "Oh," I said, caught off guard. "How come?" "I just need some me time, space to think." "Is everything okay between us?" I asked directly. She sighed like I was being dramatic. "Why would not it be you are overthinking things, Andreas?" But she would not meet my eyes when she said it. I noticed other things that week. Small things that individually meant nothing but together painted a picture I did not want to see. She had changed her phone passcode. I saw her typing it in one morning. It was longer now, more digits than before. She spent way more time on her phone, always angled away from me so I could not see the screen. When I walked into a room, she would quickly close whatever she was looking at. She started wearing a new perfume, something floral and expensive that I had never smelled on her before. Her makeup was more carefully done each morning, taking her an extra 15 minutes. And she smiled at her phone. All the time. These secret little smiles that never used to be there. Saturday morning, I was at home alone cleaning up. Isabel had gone back to her apartment Friday night. I was vacuuming under the sofa when something caught the light. I reached under and pulled out a gold hoop earring. It was not Isabel's. She only wore silver, and she never wore hoops, only studs. I texted her a photo, found this under the sofa, yours. She responded 20 minutes later, must be from that girls' night last month. But we had not hosted anything at my apartment in over 2 months. I knew because I had been meaning to have Marcus and his girlfriend over for dinner but kept postponing it. I spent the weekend trying to work on a coding project, but my mind kept wandering. I checked Instagram and saw Isabel had posted a story. She was at a coffee shop. The caption read, "Sunday Reset," with a coffee cup emoji. But in the background of the photo, reflected in the window, I could see someone sitting across from her. I zoomed in. A man in a dress shirt. I could see his arm on the table, an expensive-looking watch on his wrist. Who was she meeting? Why had she not mentioned it? Sunday evening dragged. Monday at work was torture. I could not focus. My manager asked if I was feeling okay, because I seemed distracted. I told him I was fine. Monday night, Isabel came back to my apartment. She was suddenly in a good mood, smiling, asking about my day. She even offered to cook dinner. But the whole time her phone kept buzzing. She would glance at it, see the notification, and quickly swipe it away. "Work is really blowing up your phone," I commented. "Yeah, this new campaign is crazy," she said, not looking up from the stove. At one point, her phone was on the counter next to me while she was stirring sauce. A notification popped up. Before she could grab it, I saw the name, just the letter J. The preview said, "Cannot wait to see you tomorrow." She snatched the phone so fast, she nearly knocked over the salt shaker. "Who is Jay?" I asked, trying to keep my voice neutral. "Jessica from work," she said immediately. Too immediately. "We are meeting for lunch tomorrow to go over the campaign details." Jessica. I had heard Isabel mention her co-workers before. I did not remember a Jessica. "Yeah, she is new," Isabel said, turning back to the stove. But I noticed her hand was shaking slightly as she stirred. That night, I barely slept. I lay next to her, listening to her breathing, and thought about everything. The phone password demand. The refusal to show me hers. The early mornings and late nights. The secret messages. The mysterious calls. The earring. The man in the coffee shop reflection. The constant texting and hiding her screen. The new perfume. The extra effort in her appearance. Every individual thing could be explained away. But altogether, it was a pattern. A pattern I did not want to acknowledge, because acknowledging it meant accepting something I was not ready to face. But I could not keep ignoring it. I needed to know the truth. Tuesday evening arrived. 1 week exactly since she had demanded to see my phone. I came home from work at my usual time, 5:30, and the apartment was empty. Isabel was at the gym, or so she said. Her gym bag was gone. I sat at my desk, pulled out my laptop, and tried to focus on work emails. But my attention kept drifting to her phone charger plugged in by the sofa. She always charged her phone there in the evenings. At 6:15, I heard her keys in the door. She walked in carrying her gym bag, hair still dry, makeup still perfect. If she had just worked out, she was the only person I knew who could exercise without sweating. "Good workout?" I asked from my desk. "Yeah, really intense," she said, dropping the bag by the door. She immediately started looking around. Her eyes landed on her phone, still sitting on the coffee table where she had left it before going out. I watched relief wash over her face. She grabbed it quickly, unlocking it and scrolling through notifications. Then she headed to the bathroom. "I am going to take a quick shower," she called out. This was my moment. The decision I had been avoiding all week suddenly crystallized. I needed to know. Not by violating her privacy the way she had violated mine, but by letting her own words speak for themselves. I remembered something from months ago. Isabel had a habit I found endearing. She sent voice memos to her best friend Natalie instead of texting. She said it was more personal, more like actually talking. I had heard her recording them before, usually when she was getting ready in the morning or doing dishes. She would hold her phone up and just talk, telling Natalie about her day, her thoughts, her feelings. If something was going on, she would have told Natalie. She told Natalie everything. The shower turned on. I heard the water running through the pipes in our old building. Isabel always took long showers, at least 30 minutes. She said it was her thinking time. Her phone sat on the coffee table screen, dark. My heart was pounding as I stood up and walked over to it. I picked it up. The screen lit up, asking for her passcode. My hands were shaking. I tried her birthday, 0915. Access denied. I tried our anniversary, the day we first met, 0728. Access denied. One more wrong attempt, and the phone would lock me out entirely. I stood there, phone in my trembling hands, hearing the shower water, knowing I was crossing a line, but unable to turn back. Then I remembered. The first time she stayed overnight at my place 3 years ago. November 3rd. We had talked about it the next morning, how it felt like a real beginning. I typed 1103. The phone unlocked. I was in. My hands were shaking harder now. What was I doing? This was exactly what she had accused me of potentially being, controlling, invasive. But she had demanded to see my phone, spent 15 minutes combing through every message, and refused to show me hers. She had been distant, secretive, constantly on her phone, meeting mysterious people. The double standard. The lies about the gym. The text from Jay. I opened her apps and found voice memos. There were dozens of them, all marked, "To Natalie." I scrolled down to the most recent ones. Yesterday at 9:47 p.m., duration 7 minutes and 22 seconds. I looked at our Bluetooth speaker sitting on the shelf by the television. We used it to play music during dinner sometimes. I turned it on. I went into her phone settings and connected to the speaker. The phone chimed softly as they paired. The shower was still running. I could hear Isabel humming to herself through the bathroom door. I pressed play on the most recent voice memo. The speaker crackled to life, and then Isabel's voice filled the apartment, bright and excited, in a way I had not heard her sound with me in weeks. "Nat, oh my God, you will not believe what happened today." I stood frozen as her recorded voice continued. "So remember I told you about Jason from the office, the creative director who joined 3 months ago? Girl, we went to lunch again, but this time it was different." A giggle, an actual giggle. We were at that Italian place downtown, and he held my hand across the table. Nat, I swear my heart was going to explode. He said he has not felt this way about anyone in years, that I make him excited to come to work every day. My chest felt tight. I could not breathe properly. Her voice went softer, dreamy. I know what you are thinking. What about Andreas? I do not know Nat. I love him, I really do. He is stable, he is kind, he is safe. But Jason makes me feel alive again. Like I am 25, not 29. A pause in the recording. I could hear her sigh. We kissed, in his car after lunch. I know I should not have, but God, it felt so good. He wants to see me tomorrow night. Said he booked a hotel room downtown. I think I am going to go. The room spun around me. 3 years. 3 years together. And she kissed someone else. Was planning to sleep with someone else. Tomorrow night. Which meant tonight she would be here in our bed, lying next to me, planning her betrayal. Her voice continued from the speaker. Andreas has been suspicious lately. Asked to see my phone last week. I obviously said no. Can you imagine if he saw my texts with Jason? He would lose it. I feel bad, but I need to figure out what I want. Maybe I have outgrown this relationship. Outgrown. Like I was a pair of jeans that did not fit anymore. Jason is everything Andreas is not. Spontaneous, exciting, ambitious. He is going places. Andreas is comfortable staying in his little software engineer bubble. I want more Nat. I deserve more. Little software engineer bubble. The career I had worked so hard for that I was proud of reduced to nothing. Made small. Made boring. I am going to see Jason tomorrow. Do not judge me. I will figure out what to do about Andreas later. Anyway, call me back. Love you. The voice memo ended. Silence filled the apartment except for the sound of running water. I stood there holding her phone, unable to move, unable to process. 3 years of my life. 3 years of trust and love and building a future together. And she had thrown it away for excitement, for spontaneity, for someone who made her feel 25 instead of 29. I thought about letting it go, pretending I had not heard. But then I thought about tomorrow night. She would tell me she had to work late, or maybe dinner with the girls, and she would go to a hotel room with Jason while I sat at home believing her lies. I scrolled up to earlier voice memos. 1 week ago. I pressed play. Nat, so there is this new guy at work. Jason. He is gorgeous and he actually gets my ideas. You know, not like Andreas who just nods and says everything I do is great without really paying attention. 2 weeks ago, Andreas wanted to have another quiet night in, cooking dinner, watching Netflix. I am so bored, Nat. Is this all there is? I am 29, not 60. 3 weeks ago. I asked to see Andreas's phone last night. I know, but I needed to feel less guilty about texting Jason. If Andreas was hiding something too, it would make me feel better. But of course his phone was completely clean, which somehow makes me feel worse. So that was why she had demanded to see my phone. Not because she did not trust me, but because she wanted to justify her own betrayal by finding something wrong with me. And when she found nothing, it made her feel guilty, so she got defensive instead. The water shut off in the bathroom. I could hear her moving around, probably drying off. I quickly closed the voice memos app and set her phone back exactly where it had been on the coffee table. I sat down on the sofa, hands clasped between my knees, trying to control my breathing. The bathroom door opened. Steam drifted out. Isabel emerged wrapped in a towel, her dark hair wet and combed back. She was humming that same tune from earlier, completely unaware. She saw me sitting there and smiled. Actually smiled. "Hey, you okay? You look pale." I stared at her. This person I thought I knew. This person I had trusted completely. This stranger wearing my girlfriend's face. "I played your voice memos," I said. My voice came out calm, almost eerily calm. She froze mid-step. The smile vanished. Her hand reaching for her phone on the table stopped in midair and started trembling. "What?" The word came out as barely a whisper. "Your voice memos. To Natalie. I connected your phone to the Bluetooth speaker while you were in the shower. I heard everything." All the color drained from her face. She looked from me to the phone to the speaker and back to me. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. About Jason. I continued in that same unnaturally calm voice. About lunch yesterday. About the kiss in his car. About the hotel room tomorrow night. About how I am stable and kind and safe but boring. About my little software engineer bubble. About how you have outgrown me. Andreas, I can explain. She started, her voice cracking. I held up my hand. Do not. What? Do not insult my intelligence by trying to lie your way out of this. I heard your own words, your own voice. You cannot spin this. She clutched the towel tighter around herself, and tears started forming in her eyes. It did not mean anything. You kissed him. You are planning to sleep with him tomorrow. You told your friend I am boring and that you have outgrown me. Which part did not mean anything? The tears spilled over now. How dare you go through my phone? That is a violation of privacy. The audacity of that statement hit me like a physical blow. I stood up, my voice rising for the first time. Privacy. You spent 15 minutes going through every single message on my phone. You read my conversations with my mother. You looked at my photos. You checked my email. All without permission. And I gave you my password because I trusted you. That was different. It was not different. My voice was loud now, all the hurt and anger of the past week pouring out. You demanded transparency from me while you hid behind walls. You refused to show me your phone because you were hiding this. Do not talk to me about privacy when you have been lying to my face for weeks. She tried to flip the script. You are being controlling. You cannot let me have my own life. Having your own life and cheating are two completely different things. I said, my voice dropping back to that scary calm. If you were not happy, you should have told me. You should have ended it. Not this. Not meeting someone else. Not planning hotel rooms. Not making me feel crazy for noticing you pulling away. She stood there crying, but I felt nothing. No sympathy. No desire to comfort her. Just emptiness. I walked into our bedroom and pulled her suitcase out from under the bed. I threw it onto the mattress and started grabbing her clothes from the dresser drawers. What are you doing? She asked from the doorway. Her voice panicked now. Packing your things. I want you out. Tonight. Andreas, please, can we just talk about this? I turned to face her with the suitcase in my hands. We are done talking. You know what is funny? You got upset when I asked to see your phone. Said I was being controlling. But the whole time you were doing exactly what you accused me of potentially doing. You projected your guilt onto me. Classic. I carried the suitcase to the living room and dropped it on the floor. Then I went back and grabbed another bag, filling it with her bathroom stuff, her shoes, her books from the shelf. Where am I supposed to go? She asked, still wrapped in just the towel. I looked at her without an ounce of sympathy. I do not know. Maybe Jason has room. You said he booked a hotel tomorrow night. Maybe he can book one tonight too. I cannot believe you are doing this. You cannot believe I am doing this. I let out a harsh laugh. You cheated on me. You were planning to do it again tomorrow. You told your friend I am boring and that you have outgrown me. And somehow I am the bad guy for asking you to leave. She had no response to that. She just stood there as I gathered the last of her things. Get dressed, I said quietly. And leave your key on the table. She went into the bathroom and came out 5 minutes later in jeans and a sweatshirt, her eyes red and puffy. She did not apologize. She did not beg. She just picked up her bags, pulled out her key from her purse, and set it on the coffee table with a small metallic clink. At the door, she turned back. We will talk when you calm down. No, I said firmly. We will not. We are done. Do not call. Do not text. Do not show up here. We are finished. She opened her mouth like she wanted to say something else, but I just stared at her until she turned and left, closing the door behind her with a soft click. I stood in the quiet apartment for a long moment. Then I walked to the door and turned the deadbolt. I went to my phone and blocked her number. I unfollowed her on Instagram. I deleted our photos together from my phone. I stripped the sheets from the bed and threw them in the laundry. Then I sat on the edge of the bed in the empty apartment and finally let myself feel it. The betrayal, the hurt, the anger, all of it crashed over me at once. But I did not cry. I had cried already when I first heard those voice memos. Now I just felt hollow. And strangely, under all that pain, I felt something else. Something unexpected. Relief. The first night alone was the hardest. I lay in bed with fresh sheets staring at the ceiling, my mind replaying everything. The voice memos. Her voice so excited talking about Jason. The casual way she had dismissed our 3 years together as something she had outgrown. The word boring echoing in my head. I did not sleep much, but I also did not reach for my phone to text her. I did not check to see if she had tried to contact me. I just lay there and let myself process it. The next morning, I went to work. My coworkers asked how I was doing the usual water cooler small talk. I told them I was fine. When my manager asked about Isabel since he had met her at the company holiday party, I said simply, "We broke up." He offered the standard sympathy. I thanked him and went back to my desk. Work was actually a blessing. It gave me something to focus on besides the wreckage of my personal life. Thursday evening, I came home to the empty apartment. I ordered takeout. I ate it while watching a basketball game. It felt strange doing these normal things alone, but also kind of peaceful. I did not have to wonder where she was or who she was texting. I did not have to watch her smile at her phone and pretend I did not notice. The weekend was harder. Saturdays and Sundays had been our time. Hikes, brunch, lazy mornings in bed. Now I had 48 hours stretching ahead of me with nothing but my thoughts. On Saturday, I went for a hike alone. I drove up to Rattlesnake Ledge, a trail we had done together probably 10 times. As I climbed, I kept expecting to feel sad seeing the views without her. But instead, I felt free. I could go at my own pace. I could stop and take photos without worrying if she was getting impatient. I could just exist in the moment. At the top, I sat on a boulder overlooking the valley and pulled out my phone. I had a text from Marcus, my best friend from high school. "Hey man, wanna grab a beer tonight?" I typed back, "Yeah, I could use one." That night at the bar, I told Marcus everything. He listened without interrupting, nursing his beer, his face getting progressively more angry on my behalf. "So let me get this straight," he said when I finished. "She demanded to see your phone. You gave it to her with zero hesitation. She went through everything. Then, when you asked for the same, she said no and called you controlling. Yep. And then you found out she was cheating by playing her own words back to her. Yep." Marcus shook his head and took a long drink. "Man, that took guts. A lot of people would have just kept ignoring the signs." "I almost did," I admitted. Part of me wanted to pretend I had not heard those voice memos. Just delete them and go on believing her lies. "Why did you not?" I thought about it. Because I deserved better than that. Better than being someone's safe option while they explored excitement somewhere else. Better than being called boring for having a stable job and wanting a committed relationship. Better than being lied to. Marcus clinked his beer against mine. "Damn right you did." Over the next few weeks, I started building a new routine. I went to the gym in the mornings before work. I joined a volleyball league through my company. I reconnected with college friends I had lost touch with. I worked on a side coding project I had been putting off for months. I read books. I cooked new recipes, trying things I had never made before. Slowly, the apartment stopped feeling empty and started feeling like mine again. I rearranged furniture. I bought a new plant for the window since the old ones had been Isabel's. I painted an accent wall. I made the space my own. About a month after the breakup, I was scrolling through social media on a friend's account. I was still avoiding my own Instagram, and I saw Isabel's profile. She had posted pictures from a trip to Cabo. She was with Jason, both of them tanned and smiling on a beach. The caption said something about new adventures. I expected to feel angry or hurt. Instead, I felt sorry for her. Sorry that she did not understand what loyalty meant. Sorry that she threw away 3 years of real partnership for temporary excitement. Sorry that eventually Jason would become boring to her too. Because the problem was not me being boring. The problem was her constantly needing something new, something more, something different. That kind of hunger is never satisfied for long. I handed the phone back to my friend and did not think about it again. 2 months after the breakup, I got a text from an unknown number. It took me a minute to realize it was Isabel. She must have gotten a new phone, or I had never fully blocked this number. The message said, "I know I messed up. I am sorry. Can we talk?" I stared at the message for a long time. Part of me, the part that had loved her for 3 years, wanted to respond. Wanted to hear what she had to say. But the wiser part of me, the part that had grown stronger over these 2 months, knew better. Some conversations do not need to happen. Some apologies come too late. Some doors once closed should stay closed. I deleted the message and blocked the number. Now 6 months later, I am sitting in my favorite coffee shop writing this all out. My laptop is open with a coding project that excites me. My life is peaceful. I go on dates sometimes. Nothing serious yet, and that is okay. I am learning to be happy on my own first. Looking back, that voice memo was the best thing that could have happened. Not because hearing it felt good. It absolutely did not. But because it freed me. It freed me from loving someone who did not love me the same way. It freed me from a relationship where rules only applied to one person. It freed me from being called boring for being stable, safe, and trustworthy. She demanded transparency from me while hiding behind walls of her own. That is not love. That is manipulation. That is control disguised as trust issues. I learned that trust should never be a weapon. It should not be something one person demands while refusing to offer it in return. Real trust is mutual. Real trust does not need to be proven through phone passwords and invasive inspections. Real trust means not needing to check in the first place. I learned that when someone accuses you of having something to hide, sometimes they are really projecting their own secrets onto you. She asked to see my phone, not because she did not trust me, but because she was doing things she should not have been doing and wanted to justify it by finding something wrong with me. I learned that being stable and reliable and committed is not boring. Those are strengths. Those are good qualities. The right person will value them. The wrong person will call them boring and look for drama and excitement elsewhere. And that says everything about them and nothing about you. I learned that you have to stand up for yourself. When I found out the truth, I could have begged her to stay. I could have asked what I did wrong. I could have tried to be more exciting, more spontaneous, more whatever she thought she needed. But I did not. I told her to leave. because I knew my worth. And I knew I deserved someone who would not make me feel like I had to change who I was to be enough. Most importantly, I learned that sometimes the best thing someone can do is leave your life. Isabel leaving made room for me to grow, to rediscover myself, to build a life that made me happy instead of constantly worrying if I was making her happy. These days, when someone asks to see my phone, I still say yes. I still have nothing to hide. But now I also ask, sure, can I see yours? And if the answer is anything other than an immediate yes, I already know everything I need to know. Because relationship rules should apply equally. Privacy should be mutual. Trust should be reciprocal. If you are in a relationship where you are always the one proving yourself while the other person remains above scrutiny, if privacy is their excuse but your boundary is called controlling, if you are accommodating while they are deserving, listen to me carefully, that is not love. That is imbalance. That is disrespect. And you deserve better. I deserved better. And now I have better. Not because I found someone new, but because I found myself again. So if you are watching this and you have been through something similar, I want you to know it gets better. The first night is hard. The first week is harder. But slowly, day by day, you heal. You grow. You realize that losing someone who did not value you is not actually a loss at all. It is a gain of self-respect, a gain of freedom, a gain of space for someone better to eventually come along. Trust should never be a weapon. It should be a bridge that two people build together from both sides. And if someone is using it to control you while they walk free on their side, burn that bridge down and walk away. You will thank yourself later. I promise you that. I did. And 6 months later, I am happier than I have been in years. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever been in a relationship where trust became one-sided, where you were expected to be an open book while your partner remained locked? How did you handle it? Drop your story in the comments below. And if this resonated with you, please hit that like button. It helps more people who need to hear this find this video. Subscribe to the channel because I share more real stories about relationships growth and finding yourself after betrayal. And share this video with someone who might need to hear it. Someone who is in a relationship where they are constantly proving themselves while their partner hides. Thank you for watching, for listening, and for being part of this community. I hope my story helped you in some way. Remember, you are not boring for being loyal. You are not controlling for asking for the same respect you give. And you are not wrong for walking away when someone treats your trust like a weapon instead of a gift. Stay strong. Value yourself. And never settle for someone who makes you feel like you need to earn what they refuse to offer. Until next time, take care of yourselves.